Welcome everybody, Randy Blunt here. Excited to be with you today and to share my story. Before we get into some training, I want to talk a little bit about who I am, what I've learned, and what I hope to share. Just quick disclaimer, I'm going to share things that I've learned, but I still make mistakes every day. I'm still imperfect, I'm still learning, but I'm passionate about what I've learned, and I'm excited to share that with you guys. How all this learning happened was because I was put in a leadership role really early in my career. So from 22 to 26, I ran the business as the vice president while my father was battling cancer. Ultimately, he ended up passing away when I was 26. My wife was pregnant, and so with our third child. So 3 kids, 26, my father passes away, and then my wife, she finds a lump in her breast. And scary moment to lose your dad, and then, so it was a really tough time for me. While you're growing a business, life doesn't stop. From 26 to 35, I continued to grow the business. I moved into a role of president. I felt this real obligation to make sure my family was taken care of, right? My father passed away. He was growing a business. I wanted to take care of my family. I wanted to do right by him. I was infamous for being in the office at 5 and leaving at 8 every day because I needed to do it right. I needed to make sure my mom was taken care of. I needed to make sure my siblings were taken care of. I needed to make sure the people in our business were taken care of. That just led me to be able to learn a ton. I'm so grateful for all the people I've read, all the people who've shared lessons with me, who've mentored from me, and I'm excited to share everything I've learned, including the mistakes and how it is you can avoid them. All right, so I just want to talk about one of the mistakes that I made and how it was a catalyst for a change. Around 2011, we had an estimator who bid a highway project, and at the time we were estimating using Excel spreadsheets, and I think many of you can relate to that. It's kind of the go-to when you start a business. You know, you have to figure out how I'm going to estimate. Excel is a powerful tool. You grow into it, but you know, it lacks a little bit, and so when we get the project, we find out there was a few mistakes made that we didn't catch. And so here we are in 2012, the economy is not doing great, and we have a project that has some mistakes in it. And it's a tough project. It's a freeway interchange, it's got rock, the rock's really hard, and lots of phasing. So, you know, we're working on ramps on both sides of the freeways, we're doing traffic switchovers, just a tough project. Our job costing processes are pretty rudimentary at the time. We had gotten onto a construction-specific accounting software, but all of our costs were trailing, right? We're waiting for payroll, we're waiting for invoices before we have any idea where our costs are. And so we make it through the first season of the project, and the perception is we're doing well. This project had a 4-month shutdown. By the time the 4-month shutdown had ended, we start to realize the project's not doing well. It's doing quite poorly. As we move into the second season, it's realized and projected that we're going to lose about $500,000. And in 2012, when the economy wasn't in a good place, $500,000 was a big deal. Like pay cuts, potential layoffs, a lot. And so this mistake of bidding a job and then taking it on and not managing cost well really made our executive team sit back and say, what are we doing? What can we do better? Are we estimating right? Are we job costing right? Is our job costing systems integrated with our accounting systems well? Have we trained our people correctly? Are we forecasting correctly? It was a catalyst to really rethink the business. The business was small. You know, we were still doing probably only, I don't know, $10, $12 million a year at the time. So it hadn't really taken off. But we realized quickly, if we didn't figure out some systems and we didn't get things right as we grew, we weren't going to make any more money. We could potentially lose a lot of money. And I think many of you contractors have been there. You felt that. Or you're there right now. You're thinking, man, I was making so much money when I was doing $3 or $4 million a year. And now what am I going to do? I'm trying to grow and I'm doing 5 or 6 and I'm making less. Around 2012, we kind of paused. We said, hey, we're not going to grow our business anymore. No revenue growth. We're going to fix our business. We're going to work on the business. And so we did. For 3 years, we had no growth. We stayed within about 1 to 2 million of our previous revenue and just figure things out. It was a tough time. I think most of us are in construction because we like to build stuff. Well, I wasn't building anything. I mean, we were building stuff as a company, but I wasn't out in the field in any way. I mean, we were working on what's the systems that need to be in place. What can we do better? And we spent 2 years figuring out what systems to implement and how to implement them and to do them right. And then we said, all right, we have this figured out. And then from 2015 on, we said, let's grow. And we were able to do it successfully. I mean, we went from a $12 to $14 million business in 2015. By 2020, we were doing $40 million. We went from making little to no money to making margins, gross profit margins, north of 25%. And outperforming our peers on a regular basis. I started being involved in some peer groups and I started realizing, hey, this is working because we're more profitable than a lot of our peers. And I started feeling this like, I want to share this. I want other people to have this success. I want people to understand construction doesn't have to be this low margin industry. Like, we can do it well and we can make money for doing it well. During that time, I'm having a lot of fun. The business is growing. It's successful. Before we knew it, we had 3 companies talking to us about purchasing us. And I don't know at 35 I ever thought I would sell a business, but my wife and I, we had a serious conversation. And this was the conversation. It was something like this. We can make a lot more money owning the business, but what do we want in life? We just decided we had enough and we wanted to live our lives helping others. And so we decided to take this opportunity and we sold the business. And so now here I am trying to fulfill on this promise that my wife and I made and saying, hey, let's help other people. We've been blessed with so much, like, let's go do good in the world. And we're excited about that, and we're excited to be able to share some of these lessons with you guys.